Let's talk about yesterday's correction and if I think that this correction is over by now. And I also, during the correction myself, made quite a big mistake. And I think a lot of people can make this mistake. So I want to just share that. I don't only want to share my wins, but also my losses in the hope that you do not make the same mistake in this crypto market. So welcome to the Fomo Factory. Like the video if you like the video. If you don't know, sure, if you're gonna like the video, just like it anyway. Can never be sure. Subscribe, turn the bell notification on, and let's get right into the content. So Bitcoin wicked down to $92,000, give or take. And for Bitcoin, that's not really a bad thing, actually. If you look at this range right here, then you can see that this is a big support zone. And as long as we hold this, I'm for Bitcoin not really concerned. We can dip below it as well. And that's fine, right? But we are now already back at 98. Now, the thing is that altcoins sold off harder. The reason why the market dipped, and I want to call it a dip, not a crash, because a crash is more like complete flush out, panic all over the place. This wasn't it, right? But the reason it dipped is more like, the Fed said like, hey, we're going to do 2 rate cuts next year and not 3. And the whole market, not only crypto, but the broader market was like, ah! And then they realized like, well, it's maybe not that raw. So let's go back up again. And what I said in yesterday's video is I think that at a certain point, altcoins are going to do better than Bitcoin again, because there are people in this market, like me, for example, that look at this and be like, it's a bull market. I want to buy the dips, actually. But I'm not going to buy the Bitcoin dip, because I am not in this market to maybe make a 2x, maybe 3, right? I want to make more than that. And with Bitcoin, it's going to be very hard in this bull market to make more than that. So I'm, for example, and I think a lot of other people as well, looking at altcoins. And altcoins, in first instance, they went down harder, but they also went up a lot harder. And this is beautiful. I'm going to show you this. But I said in yesterday's video, like, guys, this correction is a blessing, really a blessing. Because, again, we are in a bull market. And if you if you are pretty sure that prices in a couple months from now will be higher than today, then it's only a good thing if it goes down so you can allocate more. Right? And well, I got a comment on this channel, and I think a lot of people feel like this maybe, but somebody says, blessing my ass. And this is probably coming from the fact that this person is all in the market, or maybe new and a little scared or whatever. And then it doesn't feel like a blessing, right? But if you are in this market for a while, and you have some money on the side, or you have a job which makes you able to DCA or whatever, then you know that this is actually a blessing. Now, what's really cool, I shared in the Discord not too long ago that I, on the 8th of December, took about 10% profits on my overall portfolio, right? And I DCA'd out a little bit before that as well, shared that here on the channel. But on the 8th of December, I said that I was taking a bigger bunch of profits. And that's pretty cool, because the 8th of December was here. Now, yesterday when I shot the video where I said like, guys, I'm going shopping, was exactly at 290 billion for the altcoin market. So the timing was perfect. And you should never expect to time the top and the bottom, but sometimes, maybe coincidentally, you will get it. And for me, this was a real blessing, because I sold here and I bought here, right? Like if you look at this range, then that's quite of a perfect trade. But something I did not do completely well, and I want to share that as well, of course. And I have some people in the Discord. So if you are not a part of the Alpha Factory Discord, join it down below. There's a link in the description or the pinned comment for a lot of exclusive content. But there are also people there that said, I have like over 200 coins in my portfolio. And that's all nice, and that's also my problem. I don't have 200, but I have too much. And yesterday, I noticed why. I already knew, but yesterday I experienced why that's a problem, right? Because the market dipped and it went really, really fast. If you look at the hour chart, it was here for an hour or so, right? Maybe two, but that's it. And then it went up again. So I happened like, and it also, you know, you have to be a little bit lucky because maybe you live in a time zone where you were sleeping back here or you had something else to do. But even if you were fully here, like I happened to be, I didn't take full advantage of it. And I did not take full advantage of it because I had everything spread out too much. I had my shopping list, right? So I am prepared for these dips, and that's what I could recommend you. Like, hey, if the market crashes, make sure that by then you do not have to think about what you are going to buy, right? Because you do not have that time to think about it. But I had my shopping list. But the problem was I had my stables and my coins, but also my stables spread out too much. I had it on that exchange, that exchange. I wanted to buy a coin on the Binance Smart Chain, but it turned out I didn't really have much money there. So I had to bridge it. And I had it all over the place, right? And that was my problem, which made me not able to buy as much as I initially wanted. Right? I said in yesterday's video that in this zone I will put in 50% on my cash, and if it goes to this zone, I'll put in another 50%. I eventually put in, I don't know, man, maybe 20% of my cash here because I just didn't have time to collect all the money to put it into the coins that I wanted. So, lesson for me learned. Now, look, again, why do I share this? Because I do feel like that in crypto, you have to experience certain things to make sure that you don't mess it up the next time. But it could be helpful that there's somebody who maybe shares their mistakes as well, so you can learn from those, so you don't have to make those mistakes yourself. So that's what I, in all honesty, wanted to share. Make sure that you are prepared for corrections, not only emotionally, but also again have your buying list, but also make sure that you have your stables ready where you need them to be ready. That's really important. All in all, the altcoin market, if we look at this, then is the correction over? Well, it's a little hard to say. I mean, the altcoin market made a lot of lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And we had this lower high right here. And on the hour chart, we made a higher high right here. So on the shorter time frame, it looks like, okay, the correction could be over actually for the coming time. However, I do want to stay a little cautious on the higher time frame, because on the higher time frame, when I put it on the daily right here, you can see that we have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high, we have a lower low, and now we can still go up with like 24%, well, let's say 20%, and it's still a lower high, right? So there is, on the slightly higher time frame, still a downtrend, which could take weeks to play out if it plays out, right? But what we want to see is eventually the market putting in a higher low and a higher high. And the higher high is, again, still far from this. But if we manage to put in a higher low, then I would say, okay, slowly the trend is changing. And then it can take a while for the altcoin market actually to eventually put in that higher high. But what we don't want to see is that it's going to make a lower low, right? At least if you are bullish and all in, maybe not prepared, then this is not what you want to see. It's not off the table, in my opinion. I'm not saying it will happen, but it is not off the table because that's just the pattern that we are in right now, right? And what's notorious about these kind of markets is that for the altcoin market, we saw a pretty heavy correction of 36% from top to bottom, right? But if you look at previous bull markets, well, let's take a look at this bull market where we are in right now, but the earlier stage of it actually, you can see that here we had a correction also of 25%, right? Like these things are very, very common, and we have these smaller ones of 14%, but it's all possible. And if you look at previous markets as well, we got here in the altcoin market occasionally, and you can see it, sorry for that, but occasionally we had 30% corrections. They happened every couple of weeks, basically. And sometimes we get bigger corrections than that, especially in the altcoin market. I mean, this was a black swan right here, but still, eventually that mid-cycle top was terrible. There was a 70% correction or so. So it is not unheard of. I, however, do still think that we are in a bull market. It's not a bear market. And therefore, the video that I made yesterday was also more about, sentiment. Like, sentiment can be a bitch, to be honest, because yesterday, everybody was scared. Everybody was like, I noticed a lot, not everybody, but a lot of people, they were scared, they were bearish, they had FUD, right? Today, the sentiment is the complete other way around because it recovered that quickly. But, overall, the market hasn't really changed. It's at the same place at where it was yesterday, the day before yesterday, last week, 3 weeks ago. So nothing really much is actually changing. And the sentiment in the meantime is doing whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. So please try to ignore that a little bit. That will be really helpful. And try to now kind of analyze what's doing best, right? Which kind of projects are really outperforming right now. Like, if you look at Wilder World, for example, Wilder World had a pretty nasty correction as well, like everything, but it had a bounce of 46%, right? If you bought the lows, happened to bought the lows, then you're now sitting like half of your bag has grown, right? Like, that's kind of crazy. And Superverse as well, like Superverse, this region 122 was a perfect buy. It's now at 160. We have ChainGPT, which is doing fantastic. Let me take a look where ChainGPT is. Should be here. ChainGPT is bouncing really, really hard. Not even from the low, but just from the low the last couple of days. Also up 57%, and that's paired with some news that it's now listed on Binance Future, so that's really great, of course. But still, look at the coins that are now really strong, right? Because in the next dip, you might want to take advantage of those coins. So all in all, this market is giving us a fantastic opportunity right now. So what I think is going to happen, look, in the mid/long term, which I mean with is the like until the rest of the bull market basically, right? Is that the altcoin market is going way, way, way higher. Yeah, if it corrects a lot more in the meantime, it's possible. I find it like that's hard to predict. What I can say is that, this whole lower high structure that I just explained is really important. What I find interesting as well is the total crypto market. If you look at the total crypto market cap, you can see we had the all-time high back here in 2021 and we broke it a couple weeks ago, right? We went way above it. And now kind of what it did was just a retest of that level, right? We struggled right here to break it. And once we broke, we flew, had a small retest, and then we really went up. And now we retested again. That is really bullish, actually. That's really bullish. I mean, if you have a previous all-time high and you just break it and you go, pew, then I feel like, whoa, if we can break it that easy, it can also come down that easy. And now we at least came down, gave the bears a chance, and it turns out that they are not that strong at that level. And that means that if we go back down to around that level, it's more favorable for the bulls right there, right? So that means that if you're buying right there, you're probably in a good position, right? So overall, I do think that the altcoin market is showing us like, or the total crypto market is showing us like, hey, this level, we can soon really leave it behind us. And I do think that, again, that the altcoin market is going way higher. That's mainly because of the others dominance. So others is everything outside of the top 10 in the top 125. And if we look at the others dominance, then I mean, it's funny, man. We are in this parallel channel for 7 years already, since 2017, and it also goes back to 2014 right here, which is 10 years right now, more than 10 years. And what we did a couple weeks ago is we retested this bottom, and it turned out that this level is still intact, right? We had it basically here, we had it somewhat here, we had it here, here, close to here, and now we had it here again. So it is still fully intact. So everything close to this level is a blessing, right? If this wasn't intact, then why did we bounce exactly off of it, right? You have to realize that like charts and patterns like that make sense for a reason. So my outcome, I want to say my bullish prediction, but it's actually more of a realistic prediction, is that at the end of 2025, we will be sitting here. Because we went here twice in this bull market in 2021. And we also went there twice, well, actually 3 times in 2017-18. And it is still intact. So there's a good chance that we go there in 2025 again. Now, that's really bullish, because that means that the altcoin market will dominate the total crypto space by 30%. And then it's a matter of kind of expecting how high can the total crypto market go to find out how high altcoins could potentially go. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin at 200K, right? And then if altcoins at a certain point dominate with this much, then we're talking about valuations which that makes you look back at today and be like, why didn't I like go all in right now? Like fucking like, so I don't know. I'm bullish. I'm bullish. Now, people here, like we went up and people were like, yeah, okay, well, then we went down and people were like, alt season canceled, right? And now you see how easy it was for us to already reclaim a big part of this downwards move, right? Like from the moment we were down yesterday, it's now already up 10% on the dominance, right? On the dominance, it's a lot. Like on a shitcoin, it's not, but on the dominance, that's really a lot. So therefore, I do think like, hey, altcoins are now strong, really strong, even though they go to, corrections and they lose a lot, they also gain a lot. So this is the moment where you want to buy the dips. Therefore, make sure that you have your money ready. Now, again, I do think that there's a very good chance that this goes to 30%. It's not that I'm not selling before it gets there, right? If it goes here, I'm already selling a good bunch of my bags, right? Because, hey, this time might be different and I don't want to leave any money behind. But I'm also leaving money in the market because there is a chance that it does what it always does, because the market is so far doing what it always does. But if that's 30%, look, Bitcoin, again, there's a really good chance that it goes way higher. If we look at Fibonacci retracement, then the real like big level after this 122 is 150, give or take. And the 3.618 is also a level, and Fibonacci said it really good on Crown's video today. This is a level that's always been hit. And this is currently at $208,000, give or take, right? This is, for Bitcoin, is now $2 trillion, give or take. That's another $2 trillion added, right? So $2 trillion added to the total crypto market is $5.5 trillion. But we know that once that happens, the total market cap is also going up. So that's way more than 5 trillion. And if we look at the Fibonacci retracement right here, then we can say like, yeah, if we look at the same Fib extension, it's 9 trillion for the overall crypto market, which sounds like a lot. Well, it is a lot, but it's a 3x from this point, right? A 3x from this point. We are now, if you look at the 4-year cycle, let me get that vertical line. We are now, if you look at the 4-year cycle here, and we are now in December 2016, which is here, right? From these points, like, of course, less money, it's diminishing, right? But here it didn't do a 3x, here it did a 58x. Okay, so let me clarify, we won't see that again, of course. And here it did a 5.5x, right? So to get a 3x from this point, it's even less than a 3x. It's a 2.5x, right? Which is quite diminishing. It's not that unheard of. Now, if we get to 9 trillion and the total altcoin market dominates with 30%, that's 2.7 trillion for the altcoin market. It's now at 340 billion. So 2.7 trillion, that would put it, yeah, here, like 8x higher, give or take. Right? And you feel like, oh, 8x, yeah, that's for the top 125. I mean, from the absolute bottom until where we are right now, it's just 400%, right? That's from this point, it's another 700%. So the best part of the market, I honestly think we're about to see it. And again, this is not me like predicting that we'll go there, but it's also not that I think at least not sitting here like, wow, I'm being a fully moon boy right now or anything. It's actually taking a very cautious average of what already happened every single time, including the diminishing returns. And I think that's a pretty realistic expectation, actually. So yeah, the altcoin market can grow very hard from it, and it makes sense to go up by that much. Because if you look at altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, they are sitting at the lows right now, right? And like I said before, altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, they do bad, right? They do bad. But altcoins on the dollar pair, they do very well. And that's just because Bitcoin is sitting at these high levels. Can you imagine what happens as soon as this really starts to outperform again with Bitcoin at these levels, right? And I don't know, man. There's not a lot of reason for me to believe that we're now going to do this for some reason, right? But we only have to do a little bit of this, and it's already going to get completely out of control. I'm not even talking about making higher highs or anything. And I don't know if we will make higher highs. We could. I don't think, man, I find it like hard to predict in this case. But even if we get here or to the golden zone, which is my minimum target, that's crazy, right? Because that would be a gain from this point of around 80 to 100% for altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, right? On their Bitcoin pair. Again, that's what XRP did, for example, and XRP on the dollar pair exploded, let alone if Bitcoin is sitting higher by then. And you have to realize this part right here, where altcoins did a little good against Bitcoin, altcoins exploded on the dollar pair already, right? While Bitcoin was sitting at what, 40K back then. So if you look at altcoins on the dollar pair, you can see that this is what altcoins on the dollar pair really mooned, right? And that's because altcoins on the Bitcoin pair just did okay against a Bitcoin, which was 40K. Now let's get altcoins on the dollar pair going up harder with a Bitcoin at 100K or more. You have to, and why am I saying this? This has nothing to do with the correction. Well, you have to make sure that you are bullish enough at this stage of the market, right? I see a lot of people overall suffering from that bear market PTSD, and at every dip they say, you see, bro, it is not a bear market. This is like, I was always the one that said like, be careful, be cautious, altcoins suck. It's not that time in the market right now. It's a time in the market where Bitcoin and altcoins moon hard and where you do occasionally see 30% corrections, right? And these are opportunities and blessings if you are willing to take them. So take them, right? Take them. You will be thankful in 6 months from now. You will be thanking yourself, right? For just having the conviction and just putting money in when people don't have the faith anymore, because you have, and that's what's going to separate the rich from the poor. Like I said in yesterday's video, and I think I cannot repeat that enough, but you know, if you are not willing to take, we now have a good example actually, but if you are not willing to take these opportunities, then you have no money to make here. People want to make money, but they don't want to buy when it's low. Then tell me how you're going to make money. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that actually. So what's going to happen in the meantime? Not sure. I think it looks bullish. Also, if we look at the Bitcoin dominance without stable coins, then you can see that we broke below this rising wedge, which it was in forever. So this is what wrecked altcoins really hard, basically. We broke down below it. And now, yes, it wicked into it. But overall, it's kind of struggling to get in there, right? And that's really good. And also, if you look at the bull market support band, it is having trouble right there, right? Because it is not, it doesn't seem to close above it. And, the week still has 2 days to go. So who knows? But then again, I feel like as long as this is showing, then even on the shorter time frame, I am quite bullish on the market, really. So that's looking pretty good, actually. So again, what to buy if you want to buy? The best thing you can do is look at altcoins on their Bitcoin pair to see if they are holding up, right? If you are looking at a Solana, for example, on its Bitcoin pair, it was on the higher time frame a really big outperformer, for sure. And it was a good, choice to buy Solana. However, now Solana is really breaking down hard against Bitcoin. So it looks like, okay, let's fair enough say that, this area right here might offer support for Solana Bitcoin, right? But still, the uptrend for Solana is clearly over, right? It's clearly over. And if we break this level, then Solana is screwed. And I think that that's also going to have a big impact on the shift in narratives, right? Because Solana is popular, but the biggest reason why Solana is popular is because Solana meme coins are doing well, right? And if we now see that Solana is crashing, people don't have interest in Solana anymore or the Solana ecosystem, and therefore also Solana meme coins. And that could make sure that the meme coin hype is cooling off a little bit again as well. It's already been doing that a little bit. And then it flows into the next narrative. Like there are always narrative switches. And, this might be the technical reason for that. If you want to give it a technical reason, you don't actually have to. But look at altcoins being at least a little strong on the Bitcoin pair. While the world is overall on the bigger time frame, actually not that strong, right? It makes a low, 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 low. On the shorter time frame, yeah, it's definitely picking up. It's definitely picking up, right? And if you compare that to coins like Joe, for example, it's not going up lately, but it's at least holding a level, right? But you also have coins that just go down on their Bitcoin pair, no matter what. I don't know if I have any good examples in this list right here, because a lot kind of mooned lately. Well, Illuvium maybe, right? It still looks to hold this low right here from November. Let's see how it does. But there are coins really in price discovery to the downside against their Bitcoin pair. Sorry for not having a good example right now. But if you see one of those, then you want to maybe ignore it, right? Then I really cannot find a good example at the moment. But do look at that. Okay, so go shopping, I would say. It's not financial advice, but I was shopping yesterday. And again, in the Alpha Factory, I share the things that I sell. I share the things that I buy. I share insights, exclusive videos for you to check out. I share my portfolio, what I have, what I hold. I just show my CoinGecko portfolio. We have a lot of good stuff in there. So do check it out if you're not a member yet. I think there's a lot of alpha. The people that are in the alpha, they made their money back already on it, and you have it 3 days, I think, free trial. So hey, nothing to lose right there. For now, let's be a little patient the coming days. Let's see where things go. Take care and just enjoy your weekend. Do not forget to enjoy life. That's, I think, most important.